Is everybody ready to go? Okay, sir, you've been sworn in?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead, Mr. White.
Would you state your name to the board, please?
Officer Tyler Pruitt,
How are you employed?
City of Dover Police Department.
And were you so employed on December 9th, 2013?
Yes.
Did you respond to a call at 2601 Stringer Street on
Yes.
that day?
Yes.
Okay. In what capacity did you respond?
As a backup police officer
To whom?
to Officer Lacey Shooter.
Okay. And what was the call?
It was a disorderly call involving police officer Ramona Carney.
Did she make that call?
No, sir, she didn't.
Okay. Someone else called the police to that address?
Yes,
Okay. Was she there?
she was.
Tell the board what happened when you got there.
As soon as I arrived, I was approached by Officer Lacey Shooter. She briefed me on her talking to Officer Carney and Mr. Cloyd, and I then approached Officer Carney with the issue with the car. The car being parked behind Mr. Cloyd's not allowing him to leave. So I approached Officer Carney and asked her to move her vehicle, and she refused to do so. She said that the only way the car would be moved is if it would be towed.
Okay. Now, you were not a supervisor or a command officer at that time, were you?
No, sir.
Now, you didn't have any right to give her any order, or did you?
Other than being on duty officer.
Okay, you were an on-duty officer?
Yes.
Okay, did you consider her using a police vehicle to restrict the freedom of movement of a private citizen a lawful action?
Object to the form. He's testifying in this question.
Ask it in a little bit different way, Mr. White.
Did you consider her using that police car to block a private citizen and prevent them from leaving to be a lawful action?
Same objection. He's testifying
Go
in
ahead
this
and answer,
question.
sir.
I advised her she could not use that car in that manner.
Okay. Did she agree with you?
No,
Did she move the car?
no.
What was her demeanor?
She was calm.
She was calm to you?
was
Okay.
calm to me.
She did she yell at you?
No, sir, she didn't.
Okay. What did you do when you got through talking with her?
I spoke with her a little further, and I asked her, was there any physical contact between her and Mr. Cloyd? And she stated that he had grabbed her. And she asked if we were going to arrest him. I told her, I said, well, let me speak with him. Walked over to Mr. Cloyd.
Okay, let me stop you right there. Okay, you asked her
That's correct.
if there had been any physical contact.
Yes.
Now, you'd already talked to Officer Schulman.
Right.
And had she told that to Officer Schulman?
No, sir. It wasn't mentioned to me.
So it wasn't mentioned until you asked her if there was
Understand.
some physical contact. And then she said yes.
That's right.
Okay. So when she responded yes, what did you do?
Actually, did she have any visible injuries? And if so, to show them to me. She raised, I believe it was her left arm, and she raised up her shirt in the bicep area to show me where Mr. Cloyd allegedly touched her.
Okay. Did you see any marks?
I did.
Did you see any scratches?
I did.
Any redness,
No, sir.
swelling,
No, sir.
bruises?
No, sir.
No indication of any injury whatsoever?
No.
Okay. Nevertheless, her arm was photographed.
It was.
Okay.
Excuse me, what was the question?
Arm was photographed?
Oh,
Okay. Was she advised that if she wanted to proceed with a complaint against Mr. Cloyd for that, that she could?
It's true, yes.
Okay. Do you know whether she did or not?
A report was done. I'm not sure if she signed a warrant against it.
Okay. You don't know if she pressed charges?
No, I don't.
Okay. Had she arrested him for that?
No, sir.
Did anyone arrest him for that?
No, sir.
Did you try and persuade her? I believe you said you tried to persuade her at your initial talk with her to move the vehicle. Did you ever try again?
Several times.
Okay. And what was her response?
No, she wasn't going to move the car unless it was towed.
Okay. Did a command?
Attorney White, right there before we go too far, let me ask you a question real quickly, while we're on the subject. Could Officer Carney or yourself at that point in time have arrested Mr.
Cloyd.
Cloyd
Under the grounds of domestic violence,
underground of him grabbing her?
there were no visible injuries. According
But
to
I mean,
our-
did you have the authority, and did she have the authority as an off-duty officer
If-
to make the arrest if you perceived it to be a threat?
If I perceived the threat, yes. If there were
Okay,
physical
that's all, I
injuries,
just
yes.
want to make sure I understood the procedure. Okay.
Can you make an arrest for a crime that does not, a misdemeanor that does not take place in your presence?
No,
Okay. Did this grabbing of her take place in your presence?
no, sir.
Okay. In domestic, you have to have some evidence
That's
of
correct.
who's the aggressor and some physical evidence that there was some injury?
That's correct.
Okay. So you didn't have any evidence of any injury.
No, sir.
It did not take place in your presence.
No, sir.
Object to the floor.
And who called the police?
Mr. Cloyd.
Okay. So did you see anything, did you know anything as to who the aggressor was here other than the fact that he was the one that called?
No, sir.
Okay. But Ms. Carney was off duty. Can off-duty police officers make arrests?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if it took place in her presence, could she have arrested him?
Yes.
Okay. Who was the next officer on the scene?
I believe Sergeant Resort was next to
And did you talk to the sergeant?
Officer Schumer. Briefed him.
Okay, she briefed him on the situation. Did he talk to Ms. Carney?
He did.
Did he talk to Ms. Carney?
He did.
Did you overhear that conversation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did he ask her to move that car?
He did.
Once?
That's my recollection once.
One time?
Yes, sir.
Any more than that?
Not that I can remember. Shortly after was when, about a minute or so is when Lieutenant Long.
Okay. What was her response when the sergeant asked her to move that car?
She told me no.
She said no.
That's correct.
All right. Did she at any time tell the police to get off her property?
She did.
She tell you to get off the property?
She told us she did not want us on her property.
Okay.
It's a private matter.
Okay. Were you there when Lieutenant Long came?
I was.
And did anyone brief Lieutenant Long?
Sergeant Resort.
Okay. Did you hear that conversation?
Yes, sir.
What did Lieutenant Long do after that conversation?
He approached Officer Carney.
Did you hear any conversation between them?
Yes.
What was it?
He advised her to move her car several times. She told him no. And later after that, he demanded that she give him her keys to the car. And several times demanded he give her the keys to her car. And again, she refused to do that. And after several times of telling her, and he said, as your supervisor, I demand you give me the keys to this car. And she later gave it to him.
Okay. And then he moved the car himself?
Lieutenant Long did.
Okay. What did she do when he moved the car?
She stood behind Mr. Cloyd's car.
So instead of blocking it with her car, she blocked it with her person. Is that right?
That's correct.
Did anybody tell her to move?
Yes, sir.
What did she do?
She stood there, refused.
She refused?
Yes, sir.
A direct order?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, sir.
If she testified that she did not, is that a true statement?
Excuse me?
If she said she did no such thing, is that a true statement?
No, sir.
How many times did it, Did she ever get arrested during any of this?
No, sir.
When she refused to move her vehicle, or when she stood behind Mr. Cloyd's car, was she ever placed under arrest?
No, sir.
Was she interfering with y'all's operation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was she insubordinate?
She was.
That's all.
Officer Truitt, isn't it true that Ms. Carney was off duty that evening?
She was.
She was an off-duty citizen who was the victim of a domestic dispute, correct?
She was off duty, but there was no. It was a dispute. Yes, it was, but no violence.
But didn't she tell you that there had been physical aggression on the part of Mr. Floyd?
She did.
Is that not considered evidence, witness testimony?
There was no physical injuries. or
I'm not
mental
asking that
placement under
question,
arrest.
sir. The question I'm asking you is, isn't the victim's testimony evidence of a domestic dispute?
It was documented
Documented evidence, correct?
as a domestic dispute.
But it was evidence documented, correct?
Her statement was documented. Yes.
You wouldn't consider her statement evidence of a dispute, in a dispute?
It would be in court.
Exactly. Now, isn't it true that if you are an officer, an off-duty officer who is involved in an incident, it wouldn't be advised that you take it upon yourself to arrest the person that you're involved in the incident with, would it?
Not normal. You wouldn't do it, but you can do it because you are sworn to do that.
Well, now, but wouldn't it be advised that you call another officer so that you have a witness to the incident? If you're the victim of an incident, for you to take it upon yourself to arrest the aggressor, wouldn't it be advised that you call another officer to assist in that situation?
It would benefit to call an army officer. Yes.
Now, Ms. Carney was calm the entire time, wasn't she?
She was with me. Yes.
Now, isn't it possible that, I mean, do you understand that Mr. Cloyd was trespassing?
No.
You don't?
No.
Did Ms. Carney not tell you that she had asked Mr. Cloyd not to come onto her property?
In my presence, he did not trespass on the property. He never stepped foot on the property while we were there.
But you didn't
While
see.
I was there.
While you were there, you didn't see him come
No.
onto the property.
No.
But did Ms. Carney not say that she had come on her property?
Excuse me?
Did Ms. Carney not tell you or the other officers in your presence that Mr. Cloyd came onto her property?
I don't remember saying he can't. Well, yes, he did come on the property to get his vehicle to leave.
Exactly. Now, if she had told him not to come on her property, is that not trespassing?
She would have to tell him in our presence, and what would have to be done and banned through our system for us to know that.
Well, again, is her word not good enough that he was
Her
trespassing?
word would be good enough, but there is things that has to happen for that ban to take place.
Well, now, okay, tell me this, wouldn't it have just been easier, since he was trespassing, and since there had been an altercation, just to remove Mr. Cloyd from the situation?
He was away from us.
But just to remove him from the situation, instead of all this finagling about, you're on her property, his property is on her property, why make the big to-do about that? Why not just remove him from the situation? Would that not have been the easiest and best protocol in a domestic situation, just to remove the physical aggressor from the situation?
What do you mean remove him?
Just remove him from the property. She asked him not to be on the property.
He
He
was
was
not on the
trespassing. Oh, so just standing out on the street?
In my presence is not, he wasn't on the property. In my presence and on the street is not the property.
Well, now, to me, rather than finagling about his car and getting it out, would it not just have been easier in a domestic situation with a trespasser just to remove the trespassing aggressor? Would that not have been the easiest and best and wisest thing for the Dothan Police Department to do upon arriving on the scene?
He was not on her property. He was trying to leave by getting his vehicle. He couldn't walk back to Kentucky.
Well, now, are you familiar with the law as far as trespass is concerned, Officer Truitt?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to ask you to read the case Garrett versus Valley Cement and Gravel, and this is an Alabama Court of Civil Appeals case. The citation is 800 Southern 2nd 600. This is from the Alabama Civil Court of Appeals from the year 2000. If you would please, sir, just read this paragraph.
There's no authority in the law for taking and carrying away even one's own personal property through the commission of trespass upon real property, possessory or by title of another.
Does that tell you that it doesn't make it right? You cannot trespass on another person's personal property to get your own personal property. Is that not what that says?
That's what that says, but we cannot rest for a misdemeanor that we do not witness.
You were helping participate in allowing him to trespass to take his personal property. Is that not correct?
No, we didn't allow that. We offered to move his car off the property so that he would not come on the property.
Why would the reaction not have been just to remove the trespasser and the aggressor? Problem solved.
Well, he was not being aggressive in our presence. He
So
called us
her
for-
testimony doesn't mean anything to you.
Both testimonies mean, and we have to weigh what both parties tell us. And we make the best decision for both of them, and the best decision for us for the domestic issue was to do a report and allow her to sort that out in court, then the judge will make a decision on it.
Now, you testified earlier that you believed she was being insubordinate. Is that correct?
She was doing this. Yes.
But then you also testified that she was off duty.
She was off duty.
I'm going to show you some law on insubordination. And this is Fuquay versus the City Council of Ozark. And this is style number 567, Southern 2nd, 354, Alabama Civil Court of Appeals from 1990. And I'd like for you to read this one.
Insubordination has been
Could you please speak up so the board can hear you?
Insubordination has been defined as the refusal to obey some order which a superior officer is entitled to give and entitled to have obeyed so long as such order is reasonably related to the duties of the employee.
To the duties of the employee.
Yes,
And she was off duty.
she was off duty.
No further questions.
You done? No more questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
Is it the law in Alabama that if you're invited to spend the weekend with a woman, she can say, you're banned, and before you can leave, you're trespassing?
Excuse me?
It's not, is it?
Excuse me? Could you repeat the question, please?
Thank you.
Please do not address Mr. White.
Thank you very much.
No more questions.
That's all.
I'm sorry.
One question. Can you tell me, we're talking about this a lot, what kind of time span are we talking about?
From the time we arrived to the,
Well, from the time the call was made by Mr. Floyd until this was reconciled.
house, well over an hour.
Oh, okay.
If you're preventing that person from leaving, are you guilty of trespass if you're trying to leave?
Object to the form?
No, you're not, are you?
Testifying once again.
Okay, I think both of y'all have been guilty of testifying, so we're gonna-
Okay, I'll just rephrase the question. If you go to a scene and somebody says he's trespassing and you're the reason, or is that person trespassing?
Object to the
No, they're not.
testimony
Okay,
once
thank you.
again, Mr. White.
I ask a question, Ms.
Please
Tanya?
address us, please. Anybody else for Mr. Truitt? Okay, thank you, Mr. Truitt. Any more witnesses?
Yes, sir. Lieutenant Long. state your name, please?
Scott Long,
How are you employed?
lieutenant on night shift.
And how are you employed on December 9th, 2013?
As a night shift lieutenant, second squad command.
Okay. Did you go to a call at 2601 Stringer Street on that day?
Yes, sir, I did.
What was the nature of that call?
I believe it came out as a 26. I'm not certain on that, but it call involved Officer Carney.
Is 26 disorderly?
Yes, sir.
Who made that call? Did Ms. Carney make that call?
No, sir. I believe it was her fiance.
Okay, so he called about her.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were there other officers there?
Yes, sir, there were.
Did you speak to any of them?
Yes, when I first arrived, Sergeant Zork was there. I spoke to him directly and had asked him what was going on with the call.
Who else was there?
Officer Truitt, Officer Schulmrich, Officer McClendon, and Officer Brady.
Were these officers under your command?
Yes, sir.
Was Ms. Carney under your command?
Technically, no. At that particular point, no.
Not directly.
Correct.
Okay, but she was a subordinate officer to you, is that
Yes.
correct? She was outside the sphere then of your direct command.
Yes, sir.
She was not on your squad.
Correct.
Okay. Does that mean that she was not subject to your command or your orders?
No, sir, it does not mean that.
Is there a PGO that says so?
Yes, sir, there is.
Let me show you what's marked as City 7 and ask you if you can identify.
Yes, sir. This is the Dothan Police Department General Order 100-05 covering organization and direction.
If you would, Lieutenant, please turn to page 3, paragraph G, and explain where it says there how officers who are not under your direct command are subject to your command if they are subordinate.
Would you like me to just read the whole order?
The part pertaining to officers outside your sphere of direct command.
It says, this does not limit the authority of any supervisor at any time regarding the supervision of employees in the performance of their regular duty with regard to tactical operations, handling of calls for service, or any other designated supervisory responsibility. This requirement only applies to the administrative aspect of employee supervision and necessitates the appointing of an administrative supervisor for every employee within a division squad or unit.
I'm sorry, if you would please read page 6, paragraph 2, A2.
The supervisory officers must exercise direct command in a manner that assures the good order, conduct, discipline, and efficiency of subordinates. Exercises of command may extend to subordinates outside his usual sphere of supervision if the objective or reputation of the department so requires.
All right, read that last sentence again, please.
exercise of command may extend to subordinates outside his usual sphere of supervision if the objective or reputation of the department so requires.
Read off for city 7.
Okay.
When you arrived, you were briefed, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And who briefed you?
Sergeant Wazorek did.
What was the situation?
The information relayed to me was that Corporal Carney's fiance had his vehicle in her driveway, and she had told him to leave and not want him there.
Okay, let me stop you there. Did you have any indication that he had come there for any other reason but by invitation?
No, sir. From my understanding, he was invited there for the weekend.
Okay, so he'd been staying there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, with her permission?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But did that change?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And she wanted him to leave?
Yes, sir.
Did she allow him to leave?
No, sir. His vehicle was blocked in by the Dover patrol car.
Okay. So if somebody claims that somebody is trespassing, but the reason they're trespassing is because the person won't let them leave, is that trespass?
Object to the form, just leading.
Ask it in a little bit different way.
Okay. He was there by her permission, but she changed her mind. Is that right?
That is correct.
And she wanted him to leave,
That is correct.
but she wouldn't let him leave with the vehicle.
That is correct.
Is that trespass?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you talk to Sergeant Wazorek?
Yes, sir.
And did he explain to you that he had tried to get the police car out of the way so he could leave?
Yes, sir.
Did he tell you why that wasn't possible?
He said that she refused to move the vehicle.
Did he tell you why she was refusing?
I don't recall if he had told me or if I later learned, but she wanted the vehicle towed.
She wanted his car towed away.
Correct.
Now, was there any way for that car to be towed, his car, without somebody first moving the police car?
No, sir. It would have been impossible.
She wanted it towed, but she wouldn't move this car.
Correct.
But to have it towed, she'd have to move that car.
Correct.
So she'd move it for a tow truck, but not for you.
Object to the form, testifying once again.
That's the question. Did she move it for you?
It's a loaded question.
It sure is. I'll admit to that.
It's loaded full of testimony, Mr. White.
Ask the way you just asked the last time after she objected.
Did she want a tow truck to move his car?
Yes, sir.
Would somebody have to move the police car for a tow truck to move it?
Yes, sir.
Was she refusing to move that police car?
Yes, sir, she was.
So, if the tow truck came, she would have moved the police car for the tow truck.
I believe that to be correct, yes.
But she would not move it for you.
Yes.
Did that make sense to you?
No, sir, it didn't.
Mr. Cloyd want to go home?
Yes, sir, he did.
Okay. He wore out his weapon.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But she was going to have her pound of flesh.
Object to the form.
Yeah, that's
Withdraw.
unnecessary.
This
That's
just
unnecessary.
very.
She was going to punish you.
Object once again, Mr. White.
Why?
Did you tell her to move that car?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did she?
No, sir.
Did she argue with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if she tells this board and everybody here that you gave no such order. Is that the truth?
No, sir, that's not the truth.
Okay. Did you tell her one time?
No, sir, more than that.
Okay. Did you arrest her when she was interfering with this operation?
No, sir, I didn't.
Okay. How many times should it have taken for you to tell her?
One time.
How many times do you think you told her?
A minimum of 3.
Okay. Did you finally demand the keys
Yes, sir, I did.
so you can move it?
Yes, sir.
Did she comply with that order?
No, sir, she did not.
Okay. Did she argue with you some more?
Yes, sir.
Did she finally give it to you?
Eventually, yes. I had demanded the keys numerous times. Then she started to move the vehicle herself, and I told her no, that I asked for the keys. And then that's when she gave me the keys.
Finally,
Okay. So you had told her 3 times to move the car, and she wouldn't do it.
That's correct.
Okay. And then finally you said, give me the keys, and that's when she said she'd go ahead. She acted like she was going to go move it.
After telling her to give me the keys numerous times.
Okay, so she refused doing it until you said, give me the keys, and you were going to do it. Then she was going to stay in control and do it herself.
object to form, once again, loaded testimony.
Is that right?
Full testimony.
Just answer.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you get the keys?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. And did you move that police vehicle?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did she have the opportunity to move that vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that police vehicle was marked, was it not?
Yes, sir, it was.
And that police vehicle was preventing Mr. Cloyd from making use of that automobile.
Objection.
Was it not?
Leading.
Or was it was her police vehicle, her assigned police vehicle, preventing Mr. Cloyd from making use of his vehicle?
Same objection.
Answer the question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that a lawful use of a police vehicle?
No, sir, it is not.
Okay. Do you have to ask her permission to enforce the law?
Pardon?
Do you have to ask her permission to enforce the law?
No, sir.
Does she have to be on duty for you to enforce the law?
No, sir.
Is she exempt from following the law when she's off duty?
Object to the form.
Is she is she exempt from the law when she's off duty?
No, sir.
What happened when she gave you the keys?
I moved the vehicle out into the roadway so that we could get his vehicle out. She refused to allow him onto the property. So Sergeant Lazora got permission from him to back the vehicle out. Whenever he got to the vehicle,
Got permission from Mr. Cloyd.
correct. She placed herself behind his vehicle and then refused to move.
He was trying to leave, but she wouldn't let him.
Correct.
Did you arrest her?
No, sir.
Did you tell her to move?
Yes, sir, I did.
What did she do?
She refused to move.
How many times do you have to tell her?
A minimum of 6 times.
And she never went to jail.
That's correct.
Was she insubordinate to you?
Yes, sir.
That's all.
Lieutenant Long, was Miss Carney off duty that night?
Yes, she was.
And she was an off-duty citizen who was the victim of a domestic dispute, correct?
I'm not sure who I'd classify really as the victim, but as far as the domestic dispute, yes, it was written up that way.
So wasn't there a statement from Miss Carney that Mr. Cloyd had pulled her arm twice as she was attempting to move the patrol car earlier that evening?
I don't recall if she said that she was attempting to move it, but she did say that she was in her patrol car at the time.
Okay, and that she was in the patrol car and that Mr. Cloyd reached into the patrol car while she was in the driver's seat behind the wheel and pulled her arm twice, correct?
Yes.
Now, was there not also evidence of a damage to the property, a planter that had been knocked over?
Yes.
Is it your training Lieutenant, that if there's a crime scene, don't disturb the scene?
Not in that particular case, no.
Why wouldn't it be?
What would have been disturbed? There wouldn't have been anything disturbed other than the vehicle being moved.
Her arm being pulled twice, a planter that had been broken, did that not seem like a scene at the time to you?
Yes, it did. Maybe I'm misunderstanding exactly what you're asking me.
Okay.
At which point are you talking about? At the very, very beginning before we arrived?
I'm asking you that if there has been a crime committed, isn't it your training not to disturb the scene of the crime?
The crime wasn't revealed till much later.
Well, it doesn't matter when it was revealed. If Miss Carney, as an off-duty officer, was the only person there and she sees the scene, wouldn't her training have been, don't disturb this scene?
Not necessarily.
Well, and
There was-
explain again why.
Okay. Because the police vehicle is parked within inches of the other vehicle. If he's attempting to get his vehicle out, it's also putting the city vehicle at the risk of being damaged.
And now,
So
did
it
you,
makes more sense to me to move the city vehicle to prevent any damage to the city vehicle.
are you aware that it's against the law, sir, to trespass onto somebody's property to remove your own personal property?
Depends on the circumstances, I would say.
It depends on the
Yes, ma'am.
circumstances. So that's not the law. You aren't aware that that's the law?
I object, she's arguing.
I'm just asking, is he or is he not aware that that's the law?
And he
She's
answered,
answered the question now.
That he doesn't know? Is that
no,
the
he
answer?
said it depends on
Okay.
the circumstances. I
Quiet,
believe.
let me handle it.
Thank you.
Why? So you believe it's your authority to apply the law whichever way you want to, depending on the circumstances. Is that your testimony?
Not necessarily, no, ma'am.
But you are saying that it depends on the situation. That's according to your interpretation
Yes,
of
ma'am.
whether it needs to be applied or not. So in fact, you are interpreting when and how to apply the law.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, did you even ask Ms. Carney how the patrol car got behind Mr. Cloyd's car?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. And what did she tell you?
She said she had moved it there, it might have been the day before. She had moved it there so that whenever she got ready to go to work, I believe it was the next morning, that it would be right there.
So you knew from that she didn't move it in the middle of some heated argument in order to block him in?
No, ma'am, I'm not going to say that's what I knew. I will testify that that's what she told me.
No, she didn't tell you she moved the car behind his car in an attempt to block him in, did she?
No, she did not.
Did you understand that Mr. Cloyd was trespassing?
Whenever I was there, he was not trespassing.
But now you knew that they had had a dispute, correct? And you knew that Ms. Carney dropped him off a couple miles away from her home, correct?
Correct.
So you knew she didn't want to be around him at this point in time, correct?
She returned, so I would say that's not correct.
Excuse me?
She returned to Mr. Cole. According to her, she went back to him and brought his luggage to him. So she had more contact with him other than that one point.
I know, but wouldn't that indicate to you that even more so, that she didn't want him there at the home?
Okay, I understand what you're asking. Yes, ma'am, I would agree with that, yes.
And so you don't disagree that Ms. Carney told him, don't come back on my property?
I don't disagree with that, no.
And you understand that he did?
Yes.
And you understand that that's trespassing at that point?
Yes.
Now, isn't it true that you were asking Miss Carney, just give me your keys?
Yes.
And isn't it true that she tried to move the car herself?
Yes.
Miss Carney was concerned about how she was going to get to work the next day, wasn't she?
I do not know.
Miss Carney didn't understand why the Dothan Police Department was taking her patrol car away from her that night, did she?
I do not know.
Because Miss Carney was not charged with any kind of crime, was she?
She was not.
And she was not informed that she was placed on any sort of administrative leave pending any kind of investigation that night, was she?
No, she wasn't.
And so do you understand how she could be confused that the officers on the scene were trying to take her patrol car when she knew she had to report to work in the morning?
I'm the person who had taken the patrol car. It wasn't any of the other officers.
Well, okay, why would you have taken her patrol car? Why was she being punished?
It wasn't necessarily considered as punishment
Well, then why did you take her patrol car away?
because I felt that the vehicle was being used in violation of law, and her refusal to move the vehicle, I felt it was in the best interest of the city to remove that vehicle and return it to the police department.
Why not just park it in the street or park it beside on the side on the driveway?
She had already exhibited that she was willing to use that vehicle in violation of law, and I felt it in the best interest to return that vehicle to the police department.
Was Mr. Coy not in violation of the law for trespassing?
He was not trespassing while I was there.
But you just agreed that he was trespassing.
According to her statement, yes.
So are you saying that you've got to witness something firsthand in order for the crime to have occurred?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am, you're asking me to confirm that, and I was not there whenever he was trespassing.
Because you never even questioned him about the trespass, did you?
I did not know.
And you never even questioned him about his physical aggression toward Miss
I did
Carney,
not
did
know.
you? All you were concerned about was anything Miss Carney was doing that evening, is that correct?
No, ma'am.
And the situation had been diffused. In other words, Miss Carney, you never saw Miss Carney being an aggressor to him, did you?
No, ma'am.
Or to anyone?
No, ma'am.
In fact, she had a calm demeanor the entire evening, didn't she?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Well, explain how she didn't then.
She was being unreasonable as far as moving the car.
Well, I'm
and-
not asking whether you think she was unreasonable. I'm asking her about her demeanor. Was she calm?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I would not say calm as to her normal calm nature.
But she
Agitated.
wasn't disorderly.
No, ma'am.
Are you aware, sir, that it's illegal to trespass on the property to retrieve others' personal property?
Referring to who?
Just referring to the law.
Yes, ma'am.
You are aware of that.
You're still asking me?
Are you aware that that's the law?
Yes.
But yet you felt that Mr. Cloyd was entitled to do that?
Yes, I did. Whenever she expressed that she did not want him on his property.
So in other words, you were encouraging him to do something
No.
unlawful.
No.
How not?
When she indicated to us that she did not want him on his property, then we switched, we changed. We decided then at that point that we'd have Sergeant Resort remove the vehicle from the property.
So you decided to take it upon yourselves to break the law. Is that what you're saying?
No,
Look
ma'am.
at it long.
No, ma'am.
I'm going to ask you to read a case that is citing case law that dates back in the state to the 1800s. And this is Garrett v. Valley Sand and Gravel. Would you mind reading that paragraph, please, sir, that's marked?
Right here.
Yes, sir.
There is no authority in the law for taking and carrying away even one's own personal property through the commission of a trespass upon the real property, possessory or by title of another.
And does that say to you that it is illegal in this state to trespass onto somebody's property to retrieve your own personal property?
In my interpretation, if the person is already there,
So you're
and on the
interpreting the
property.
law.
Well, let me answer.
Everyone interprets the law now. Even yourself interprets law.
Is this not pretty clear to you?
It is my interpretation. If the subject is already on the property, and then he is told to leave, and he attempts to leave, but there is something preventing him to leave, then how can that necessarily be trespassing?
Well, sir, isn't it true that Ms. Carney drove him miles away off her property? She obviously did not want him on her property. Wouldn't you think that that's pretty obvious? She didn't want him on the property if she drove him that far away, correct?
I would agree with that, yes.
And she even drove his luggage out to him so he'd have no reason to come back to her house tonight. She said, get a hotel. Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
Why then do you take it upon yourself to interpret the law that it's okay for him to come back on trespass on her property, and it's okay for him to come retrieve his personal property in violation of this long-standing law?
Well, ma'am, we were not present at that particular point. At the point you're referring to, we weren't present.
So again, are you saying that you've got to witness a crime in order for it to have happened?
No, ma'am.
No further questions.
What kind of crimes do you have to witness for you to make an arrest?
Either, do I have to witness? It could be any crime if I witness it.
I'm talking about what kind of crime do you have to witness in order for you to make an arrest?
Pretty much all of them. If I witness any crime, then you can make the arrest.
Well, I mean, can you arrest somebody for a misdemeanor if you don't see it?
No, no, sir.
Thank you. Okay. That's all.
So you're saying that you've never arrested anybody on a misdemeanor unless you actually witnessed it right then and there?
No, ma'am.
Okay, no further questions.
There are exceptions.
There are.
Are there not correct?
That is correct.
And what are those exceptions?
DUI, domestic violence.
And domestic violence, in order for there to be domestic violence, what do you have to have?
You have to have evidence to indicate that there's enough probable cause to make the arrest.
Like what?
It could be the scene as far as a room tore up, or it could be physical marks.
Okay. So just somebody says, he hit me, they don't go to jail.
No, sir. Normally they would not unless there's
Unless you see it, or there's a mark, or something to confirm there's been a fight or injury.
That's correct.
Okay. Did you have that here?
No, sir.
Did she have the authority to arrest him for domestic violence if she wanted to?
Yes, sir.
Was she detaining him because she didn't want him to leave because she wanted him
Dad,
arrested?
once again, here we go with
Well,
the
please,
testimony.
please, let me ask my question and entitle me to an answer. Was she detaining him because she wanted him arrested?
Okay, so here
No,
we
sir, I
go.
don't believe
Object
so.
once again to the leading.
Just answer the question, please.
No, sir. I don't know.
I don't appreciate being talked over, so I'll say it again. Was she using her police car to detain him because she wanted him arrested?
And I'll object once again to a leading question.
Objection overruled.
I do not believe that to be the case, no.
Okay. Is that a lawful use of a Dothan police car to detain someone when there's no charge or no crime?
No, sir,
Object
it's
to the
not.
form.
Okay. Did she make a charge that day? Or did she go to the warrant? I mean, you couldn't make the charge, right, because you didn't see anything and there was no evidence. She didn't make the arrest. Did she go and get a warrant?
I do not know. I do not know if she did.
Is that it, Mr. White?
Did Ms. Carney make a statement? Do you know, was there an investigation?
Yes.
Did you make a statement to Internal Affairs?
No, sir, I did not.
Okay. Do you know whether Internal Affairs took a statement from Ms. Carney?
Yes, sir, she did.
That's all.
They did.
Did Internal Affairs not ask you for your statement?
They had my statement. I had written it out.
Oh, so you did provide a statement?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got to introduce it. Thank you. Let me show you what's. Thank you for reminding me. Let me show you what's been marked as C8 and ask you if you can identify that.
May I see it, please, sir?
I gave you a copy, I think.
Yes, this is my statement.
Do you have a copy?
I have Mr. Brady. I have Officer Schumerick.
That's.
I don't believe I have Lieutenant Lawrence. Excuse me, I do.
I thought you-
I had it.
Thank you.
would just like to note for the record, board, if I could, that I had requested, among other items, prior to this hearing, that would be pertinent to this hearing, the complete investigative file, and that was not produced to me. This is the first time that I'm seeing any of these statements.
Okay.
For the record, the Civil Service Act does not provide for court discretion. The rules for production of documents are set out in the Civil Service Act.
Okay.
We're
So
full
noted.
compliance. Thank you.
Because-
So noted to your
because
objection.
nothing, yeah, has to be produced.
Let me show you what's been marked as City 9, ask you if you can identify.
Yes, sir, that's Sergeant Lazard's statement.
Was he there?
Yes, sir.
Was he on your squad?
Yes, sir, he was.
Good Officer City 9. You show you what's marked as City 10 and ask you if you can identify.
Yes, sir, this is Officer Brady's statement.
Was he there?
Yes, sir.
Was he on your squad?
Yes, sir, he was.
Good Officer City 10.
Okay. Is that all your questions for
Yes,
Officer Long?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Officer Long.
Officer Long, I have one,
Okay,
just
go
one
ahead.
follow-up question. Lieutenant Long, once again, I just want to verify, Ms. Carney attempted to move her car that night, didn't she?
After I had told her numerous times to move the car and asked for her keys numerous times.
But you stopped her from moving her car?
Yes, I did.
No further questions.
Thank you, Officer Long.
He's range.
Do I need to ask her something else?
Why did we more?
One more witness. We call Major Parrish.
Yeah.